Okay, so today I'm going to show you my stamps of Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. Now, all the numbering and why I include, whatever I include is mainly coming from SCAT. Okay, so I get a few things from the internet, but most of the information is from SCAT. So these territories were located in East Africa, and if we see on the map on top, you see Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. So they were neighbor countries, and you have Lake Victoria is part of all of them. Then on the left, you have Rwanda and Burundi, South Sudan, and then you see here, this is the African horn, right? So you got Somalia, Eritrea, Djibouti, and that Indian Ocean here. These colonies, these British colonies, they never were really merged. They were just united as a postal association, so only for postal purposes. First was only Kenya and Uganda from 1921. Now, this year, the stamps that there are issued in 1921, actually they show East Africa. Doesn't say Kenya, right? But Kenya actually was East Africa that was renamed in 1920, but they used the old stamps. Then in 1935, they show the stamps of Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. But now at that time, Tanzania was named Tanganyika. That was his original name. Early on the 60s, they all got the independence from the British Empire. But they kept using the stamps of Kenya, Uganda, and Tanganyika, or Tanzania at one point, until 1976. So the only difference is after the early 60s, no monarch appeared in the stamps any longer because they were independent from the British Empire. Actually, there were four countries, four territories showing, was Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Zanzibar, because this country only was there for a year. And in 1965, Tanganyika was renamed Tanzania. Looking at the stamps on the right side, so of course you see George V in here in this stamp. The order of the words of the name of the countries, they're in different order. Here is Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania. Then you're going to see Tanganyika, Kenya, Uganda. So the order is going to keep changing. I'm not exactly sure what determines the order. What we see in this stamping here, this is like a sailing boat. They call it, let me just read in here, a dhow. Dhow, they call it this type of boat. It's in Lake Victoria. Now, this particular stamp has an error, right? So they realized at one point, and later on they fix it. But if you see this rope in here on the left side, does not touch the sail part. Later on, I can show you when I show you the stamp, so I can make it that bigger. But so that was an error that lasted several years.
Well, that lasted into the reign of George VI, actually.
Yeah, but these stamps are very nice. I think these stamps were printed by De La Rue in London. Very nice stamps. Now, the next stamp. So what I'm doing here, I'm showing you the three monarchs during this period of this postal association. So in the next stamp is George V. Now, here you have these cranes. They are great crown cranes. So this is the national bird of Uganda. I think in Tanzania too, but mainly the purpose in here is in Uganda. And in the last one in here, so that was the last monarch. That was, of course, is Queen Elizabeth in here. And again, the order doesn't follow any order in here. So this is, of course, a giraffe. that's the national animal in Tanzania. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the stamps. The stamps in the first row, they are from 1921, right? So you see George V in here, and you see in the name is East Africa and Uganda. The following year, they actually put the name now Kenya and Uganda. So they had several denominations. This is Mombasa. I think this is Kenya. Yes, the stamp in here. In 1935, they issue stamps with Tanganyika, Tanzania. Actually, it joins a little bit earlier than this, but the first stamps they were issued in 1935. So you see George V celebrating his silver jubilee, and you see Castle Windsor on the back. Very nice stamps. Now, so let's remember, this is 1935, right? And George V, he died in 1936. Okay. So you see the cranes again in here. Now here, let me see if you can tell the rope doesn't touch the sail. So this was corrected later, a lot later. Now the lion, that's the national animal in Kenya. Then this is the famous Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. Now, the Kilimanjaro is the largest mountain in Africa, but also is the largest, how do you call, freestand mountain in the world. So that means if you compare with the mountains, no part of a range of mountains. That's the largest in the world. Of course, that's the same stamp as before. And this is the Jinja bridge. This is in Uganda. And so this error was in the 5 cents and 50 cents, right? You can see here, actually, you can see it a little more clear, probably.
Mm-hmm.
That is not really touching. And that's the down on Lake Victoria. Lake Victoria is actually also the largest lake in Africa, Lake Victoria. Now, this is Mount Kenya. Mount Kenya used to be like a volcano, but it's not in activity for many, many years. And this is the second largest mountain in Africa. Now, this is actually very nice stamp. You see these elephants in here, you get a map. That's a Lake Naivasha in Kenya. This is the Kilimanjaro again. And this is the Jinja Bridge. Okay. So now these are the stamps showing George V, right? So this is 1936. So George V is dead. So now it's George VI, right? So he was coronated. This stamp is very popular. We have seen it in many other places. In 1937, he was coronated. Now you see again that same cranes. And now the only difference in here, this is just a variation because of the color, nothing else. But it's listed in SCAP. Now, if we see the same, now it's corrected in here. The Kilimanjaro again, Lake Victoria, the Jinja Bridge.
Kilimanjaro means Kaiser's mountain.
Oh, okay.
Because of course it used to be in Germany, East Africa.
Yes, so these are just the same stamp as before. Now, and this is the lion again, Kenya's animal, national animal. Now, what happened in here? So this is 1941. And because of the World War II, they weren't receiving stamps from England. And so they need to use a stamp from South Africa. So they issue, they are by pair, right? Pairs. You see, they are South Africa, and then in Afrikaans is Sweet Africa. So they issue a few of them, overprinted, of course, right? Kenya, Tanganyika, and Uganda. And that was the last one. Now here, this is obvious. This is that it's called a peace issue, right? Because it's 1946 that World War II ended, and they issued these stamps. Now, this is the wedding anniversary of George VI and Queen Elizabeth, the mother, right? The Queen Mother.
Sam, did King Edward VIII ever get on any colonial stamps?
There's
Yeah.
at least one issue, maybe two.
Do you remember
Yeah,
where?
and I don't
I
think
don't
they were
remember.
ever issued either.
Yeah.
There were
They-
overprints. The
Yeah.
British stamps with Edward VIII were overprinted for Morocco, for example.
No, but somewhere is too.
There were actual stamps with Edward VIII on them.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
okay.
And I do have it. I just don't remember where.
Yeah, I'd like to see
Yeah.
those.
Yes, yes.
So would I.
Yeah. Okay. So here, this is the UPU anniversary is 75 years. And now, what happened in here? This is 1952. This is the royal visit. This is actually in Kenya, right? The king did not go to Kenya. This was Princess Elizabeth was visiting Kenya. You actually see, I don't know if you guys saw the crown. In the crown, actually, she is in Kenya visiting, and they let her know that the king has died, and she needs to leave Kenya and go back to England right away. That's the stamp of the visit. So now the king is dead. So let's go to the next page. Now it's going to be Queen Elizabeth, right? In 1953, she get coronation. Now, in 1954, she does a visit to Uganda, and this place is called Owen Falls Dam. That was an important project in Uganda. She went to visit them there. And then here, this is the same stamp we saw earlier. This is with a giraffe. Next stamp is with elephants in here. These two stamps are identical with only one difference. This period was not in here. So they reprinted again and they included the period. Now, the lion is the national animal in Kenya, right? This is that East African lion. This is similar stamps as before. You see the Kilimanjaro again. Now, this stamping here, this is the royal lodge. This is in Kenya. This is the place with actually in 1952, Princess Elizabeth was there when she was told that her father has died and she was needing to return to England. Then there is a £1 value. Now, these two stamps in here, they are celebrating the anniversary of the discovery of Tanzania and Lake Victoria by Burton and Speke. Now, this series of stamps that they were printed by De La Rue to here. And so it has the queen with a lot of plants. Let's see, this is a cotton, coffee, wildebeest, ostriches. This is gazelles. But now, seeing the stamps, right? you see a lion in here, the giraffe, and the crane, right? Now you see the giraffe, so the order change, right? And also change, because these are very similar, so they can keep the same order, right? So it's Kenya, Kenya, Uganda, Uganda, so things are being switched, I guess that was the idea of that. Now continue. This is a manta ray. Same thing. Keeps switching from Uganda to Kenya. You got that zebras, cheetah. Now, these are giant plants in Mount Kenya, right? So we mentioned before, Mount Kenya is that second tallest mountain in Africa. Now, what is this? These are some waterfalls, hippopotamuses. This is Murchison Falls. And this is the Kilimanjaro and some giraffes. This tree is called candelabra tree because of the shape, and with the buffaloes. I'm sorry, rhinoceros, no buffaloes, rhinoceros. Now, this in here is mountains of the moon. Somehow this is related, finding where the Nile River started. And this has to do something with the discovery of Burton and Speke. I don't know exactly the details, but there is something related to that. Now here, Tanganyika and what is this? Buffaloes in here. And now this is the last stamp printed in these three territories using the picture of the queen. After this stamp, they kept printing more stamps, but not including any more because they were independent. So this was printed in 1960. And that's actually where my collection ends, in 1960. In the next page, I'm going to have some more stamps, but there's only like a postage due and the official stamps, but they are going to be using the same stamps as before. Some postage due stamps. And the officials are exactly the same as the other ones, only with the word official. Okay, so this is the end.